Hello everyone! Today we are diving into one of the most perplexing and chilling mysteries that has fascinated researchers, psychologists, and paranormal enthusiasts for decades. The story of the Pollock twins. This is not just a story of tragedy, but also one of bewildering coincidences that challenge our understanding of life, memory, and perhaps even the possibility of reincarnation. It begins in Hexham, a small town in Northumberland, England, in the mid-1950s, a seemingly ordinary place where ordinary lives were unfolding, yet fate had something extraordinary in store for one family. The Pollock family, like many others, had experienced the joys and challenges of raising children. Jacqueline and Joanna Pollock, the eldest daughters of Derek and Jean Pollock, were two bright and vibrant twins, inseparable in their adventures, games, and school life. Their laughter echoed through the streets of Hexham, and their presence brought immense happiness to their parents. However, life took a sudden, tragic turn one fateful day in May 1957, when Jacqueline and Joanna were involved in a fatal car accident. Their lives were abruptly cut short, leaving their parents, Derek and Jean, devastated and consumed by grief. The loss of the twins was not just a personal tragedy, it sent shockwaves through the close-knit community that had watched the Pollocks family grow. In the wake of the twins' death, the Pollocks struggled to find solace. They tried to move forward, but the emptiness left by Jacqueline and Joanna was profound. The daily routines, the familiar laughter, and the simple joys of family life were replaced by silence and sorrow. Yet, life, as it often does, had a mysterious way of intertwining tragedy with hope. Exactly 1 year after the twins' death, in 1958, Derek and Jean welcomed another set of twins into the world, Gillian and Jennifer Pollock. These new children, born into a household still mourning, would become the center of a story that defies logical explanation. From the moment Gillian and Jennifer could speak and interact with their surroundings, unusual behaviors began to surface. It started subtly, with comments that seemed strangely reminiscent of Jacqueline and Joanna's personalities and preferences. The twins would insist on toys, foods, and games that the deceased sisters had loved, despite never having been exposed to such experiences. For instance, Gillian displayed a strong preference for a doll that had belonged to Jacqueline, and Jennifer insisted on playing with a model train that Joanna had cherished. Their knowledge of these items seemed impossible. The new twins had never seen them, yet they displayed an uncanny familiarity and attachment. As the girls grew older, these strange coincidences multiplied. They began to refer to people and places that they had no logical way of knowing. The twins would describe locations in Hexham in detail, recounting memories as if they had personally experienced them. Yet these were memories of Jacqueline and Joanna's lives. They recognized distant relatives and neighbors, sometimes with startling accuracy, even naming them correctly despite never having met them before. The Pollocks were both amazed and unnerved by these developments, unsure whether to embrace them as a miracle, a psychological phenomenon, or something else entirely. Psychologists and researchers became involved as the story gained attention. They conducted interviews, observations, and studies to determine whether the twins' behaviors could be explained through ordinary means, such as parental influence or subconscious memory absorption. However, the evidence pointed in a different direction. The twins not only remembered specific events and personal details of the deceased sisters' lives, but also exhibited behaviors, fears, and preferences that aligned perfectly with Jacqueline and Joanna's personalities. For example, one twin demonstrated a fear of dogs that mirrored one of the original sisters, while the other had a particular affinity for a lullaby that had always comforted her deceased counterpart. These parallels were not merely superficial. They were striking in their depth and consistency. The story of the Pollock twins raises profound questions about the nature of identity and memory. Are we merely the sum of our experiences, or is there something deeper that transcends physical life? Could it be possible that consciousness or personality traits persist beyond death, finding expression in new forms? While skeptics argue that coincidence, parental influence, or cryptomnesia, might account for some of the twins' behaviors. The sheer number and specificity of these instances challenge conventional explanation. This mystery does not provide easy answers, yet it continues to captivate those who encounter it. Community members who had known Jacqueline and Joanna closely were also struck by the similarities between the two sets of twins. Friends, neighbors, and schoolmates remarked on the uncanny resemblance in mannerisms, speech patterns, and even favorite games. These observations added further weight to the notion that something extraordinary was occurring, something beyond mere chance or normal developmental behavior. The phenomenon captured public imagination, appearing in newspapers and magazines, sparking debates about reincarnation and the persistence of the soul. It is important to consider the psychological dimensions of this case as well. The Pollocks, grieving deeply for the loss of their first daughters, naturally longed for connection and continuity. It is plausible that some of the twins' behaviors were amplified by the parents' interactions, subtly shaping responses and reinforcing memories. Yet, the objective studies conducted by researchers documented instances that went beyond parental influence, involving knowledge and recognition that the parents themselves could not have imparted. These included precise recollections of events, nicknames, and personal anecdotes that had never been shared with the new twins. In exploring this mystery, one must also consider cultural and philosophical perspectives on life, death, and reincarnation. Many cultures around the world hold beliefs that the soul or spirit persists beyond the body, potentially returning in new forms. Whether viewed through the lens of spirituality, psychology, or science, the story of the Pollock twins invites contemplation of these enduring questions. It challenges us to think beyond the boundaries of conventional understanding and to entertain possibilities that may seem fantastical, yet are supported by compelling anecdotal evidence. As part one of this story draws to a close, it is clear that the case of the Pollock twins is not merely a tale of coincidence or parental grief. It is a profound enigma, a puzzle that has intrigued and confounded experts for decades. The lives of Gillian and Jennifer Pollock continue to spark debate, raising questions about the continuity of consciousness, the mysteries of memory, and the potential for life to extend beyond what we can see and measure. In Part 2, we will delve deeper into the investigation, examining testimonies, psychological analyses, and the broader implications of this extraordinary case, as we attempt to unravel one of the most mysterious stories in modern history. As the years passed, the extraordinary story of Gillian and Jennifer Pollock continued to unfold, drawing the attention of psychologists, parapsychologists, and the wider public. Many were fascinated not only by the apparent memories of the deceased twins, but also by the specific details the new twins recalled. Details that were obscure, deeply personal, and seemingly inaccessible through ordinary means. One striking instance involved the girls' knowledge of an accident that had occurred years earlier. The twins described events, minor injuries, and even the placement of furniture at the time of Jacqueline and Joanna's deaths. These were facts that neither parent nor neighbor had ever explicitly shared with them. The evidence compiled by researchers was both extensive and troubling for skeptics. One of the psychologists involved noted the girls' recognition of objects, such as personal clothing, toys, and photographs that had belonged to their deceased sisters. In particular, they displayed a familiarity with certain items and locations in Hexham, recounting their experiences with astonishing accuracy. When taken at face value, these behaviors suggested a continuity of consciousness, as if the essence of Jacqueline and Joanna had somehow persisted and found expression in the new twins. Skeptics, however, were quick to propose alternative explanations. Some suggested that the girls' parents, consciously or unconsciously, had transmitted memories, desires, and knowledge through subtle cues. Others argued that coincidences and natural personality similarities could account for some of the observed behaviors. Yet, the specificity and consistency of the twins' recollections made these explanations difficult to fully accept. For example, the twins accurately identified relatives and neighbors they had never met, using names, nicknames, and intimate details that were previously unknown to them. These observations challenged conventional psychological models and demanded further scrutiny. The Pollock twins case also raised questions about the nature of identity and selfhood. Were Gillian and Jennifer merely new individuals influenced by the memories and habits of their parents? Or were they, in some profound sense, reincarnations of Jacqueline and Joanna? Philosophers and spiritual thinkers have debated this question for decades. In some Eastern philosophies, the concept of reincarnation posits that consciousness is a continual flow, with experiences and memories transferring from one life to another. Could it be that the Pollock twins offered one of the rare empirical glimpses into such a phenomenon? Community reactions to the twins were varied. Neighbors and friends often commented on the eerie similarities between the original and new sets of twins. Teachers noted that the girls seemed unusually mature in certain areas, demonstrating knowledge and skills that were previously unknown to them. Even casual acquaintances remarked on the way the twins mirrored their predecessors' behaviors, preferences, and quirks. The more people observed, the more compelling the evidence seemed to become, further deepening the mystery. As research continued, detailed case studies were conducted. Psychologists administered tests to determine whether the twins could have learned the information through ordinary observation or parental influence. While some behaviors could be explained through careful observation, many others defied explanation. For example, the twins demonstrated fear responses, preferences, and memories that were consistent with their deceased sisters' personalities, but had no prior exposure to the triggers. These patterns suggested that some aspect of identity, memory, or consciousness might have persisted beyond death, a concept that challenges our most fundamental assumptions about life. The story of the Pollock twins is not only compelling because of the apparent reincarnation phenomenon, but also because of the ethical and emotional dimensions it reveals. Derek and Jean Pollock, while astonished and fascinated, had to navigate the complex interplay of grief, hope, and disbelief. They faced the delicate balance of recognizing the extraordinary qualities of their new children while honoring the memory of Jacqueline and Joanna. The emotional intensity of the case adds a layer of depth, reminding us that human experience is not only about facts and theories, but also about love, loss, and the enduring bonds that connect us across time. International interest in the case grew, with media outlets covering the twins' story extensively. Documentaries, articles, and books explored the phenomenon, often highlighting the tension between skepticism and belief. Some commentators embraced the story as strong evidence of reincarnation, while others dismissed it as an unusual set of coincidences amplified by parental influence and public attention. The debate continues to this day, reflecting the broader human fascination with life after death, memory, and the unknown. Psychologists studying the Pollock twins also considered the role of memory and trauma. Could the new twins' behaviors reflect a form of inherited memory or genetic imprinting? While modern science has explored the concept of epigenetic memory, where experiences can affect gene expression in subsequent generations, there is no widely accepted mechanism that fully explains the detailed, personal memories observed in the Pollock twins. This gap between scientific understanding and observed phenomena fuels ongoing intrigue and speculation, keeping the story alive in the minds of researchers and enthusiasts alike. Another remarkable aspect of the case involves the twins' interactions with strangers. On multiple occasions, Gillian and Jennifer recognized individuals who had known Jacqueline and Joanna, recalling private names, incidents, and behaviors. In one account, a neighbor who had only casually interacted with the first set of twins was approached by Gillian, who referred to him by a nickname only he and the original sisters had used. Such incidents, documented meticulously by the family and researchers, highlight the persistence of detailed knowledge across what many would consider an impossible boundary, life and death. The Pollock twins' story ultimately forces us to confront the limits of human understanding. It asks whether consciousness is confined to the physical brain, or whether it is something more, something capable of transcending death. It challenges conventional explanations of memory, identity, and personality, inviting exploration into areas traditionally considered metaphysical. Whether one interprets the case as evidence of reincarnation, a remarkable coincidence, or a psychological phenomenon, the impact is undeniable. The story has inspired generations to question the nature of existence and to remain open to the mysteries that defy easy explanation. In conclusion, the Pollock twins represent one of the most intriguing and mysterious cases of apparent reincarnation in modern history. The detailed knowledge, behaviors, and memories exhibited by Gillian and Jennifer continue to astonish researchers and the public alike. While skeptics search for logical explanations, the depth and consistency of the evidence leave many convinced that something extraordinary is at play. The case reminds us that life is filled with mysteries that may never be fully understood, yet these mysteries enrich our experience, inspire curiosity, and push the boundaries of what we believe is possible. The legacy of the Pollock twins persists not just in the records of psychology or the pages of media coverage, but in the ongoing conversation about life, death, and what may lie beyond. Their story is a testament to the enduring human fascination with the unknown, a narrative that continues to captivate and challenge those willing to explore its depths. It remains one of the most compelling mysteries of the 20th century, inviting each new generation to ponder the limits of knowledge, the possibility of reincarnation, and the profound mysteries that define the human experience.